How Wall Street quietly hollowed out American manufacturing, and what we can do about unbroken supply chains. Jeff Leimbach delivers a sharp, timely, and eye-opening account of the true reasons behind the decline of American manufacturing. While the mainstream narrative often points the finger at globalization and cheap foreign labor, Leimbach digs deeper, and what he finds is far more disturbing. According to him, the slow death of U.S. industry wasn't just a casualty of global competition. It was the result of calculated decisions made on Wall Street driven by short-term profits, not long-term resilience. At its core, the book is an indictment of financial engineering, a system of practices and strategies that allow private equity firms, hedge funds, and corporate raiders to extract as much value as possible from a company while contributing very little, if anything, to its future success. From leveraged buyouts to debt loading, asset sales, and workforce reductions, Leimbach shows how these tactics may boost a company's stock price in the short term, but leave the organization brittle, underfunded, and ultimately unsustainable. Chapter 1. The Myth of Globalization. Leimbach opens by challenging the oversimplified myth that American manufacturing declined solely due to outsourcing and globalization. While it's true that offshoring played a role, the real damage came from within. He introduces the central villain of the story, financial engineering. Through techniques like leveraged buyouts, sale-leaseback arrangements, and intellectual property sell-offs, investors turned productive manufacturing firms into hollowed-out shells. These practices didn't just make companies more efficient, they made them fragile. Leimbach paints a picture of how this financial manipulation changed the very DNA of once thriving firms. Instead of reinvesting profits into machinery, workers, and innovation, companies were now focused on serving their financial overlords by cutting costs, slashing payroll, and squeezing every ounce of profit from the organization. Chapter 2. Value creation versus value extraction. Only of the book's key frameworks is the distinction between value creation and value extraction. Value creation happens when companies build, invest, innovate, and grow. This was once the foundation of American manufacturing. Value extraction, on the other hand, prioritizes short-term profit, often through cost-cutting, asset sales, and financial gimmicks. This has become the dominant model in corporate America. Leimbach uses striking examples to drive this point home. A particularly tragic case involves a Midwestern auto parts supplier that was acquired by a private equity firm. Within 5 years, its R&D department was eliminated, its most experienced workers laid off, and its facilities sold and leased back to raise cash. On paper, the company was profitable, but when the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted global supply chains, the company lacked the capacity and institutional knowledge to adapt and collapsed. Chapter 3. The knowledge drain. In this chapter, Leimbach introduces the idea of tacit knowledge, the kind of deep, intuitive expertise that's passed down through years of hands-on experience. Think of the machinist who can tell a machine is off by the sound it makes, or the plant manager who knows how to tweak a process without referring to a manual. This knowledge is often undocumented and irreplaceable, but when companies prioritize cost-cutting, these are the roles that are eliminated first. Older, experienced workers are seen as too expensive. Apprenticeship programs are viewed as unnecessary. As a result, industries lose not just manpower, but memory, and when factories shut down, entire communities lose generations of industrial wisdom. Leimbach argues that this erosion of expertise is one of the most devastating, least acknowledged effects of financial engineering. Chapter 4. The Manufacturing Vulnerability Index. MBI. Leimbach doesn't just offer opinions, he brings data to the table. In one of the book's most original contributions, he introduces the Manufacturing Vulnerability Index (MVI), a tool designed to measure how fragile an industry has become due to financialization. The MVI factors in several metrics: debt to equity ratios, levels of R&D investment, workforce retention, and age distribution, reliance on foreign suppliers, capital reinvestment rates. In this index, Leimbach reveals that sectors like semiconductors, medical devices, and pharmaceuticals are alarmingly vulnerable. Aerospace and defense fare somewhat better due to government oversight and subsidies. This data-driven approach gives weight to his argument that America isn't just facing a supply chain issue, it's facing a national security crisis. Chapter 5. Stories of Resilience. While much of the book is a critique, Leimbach also highlights beacons of hope across the country. A few companies resisted the Wall Street model and survived. He tells the story of a North Carolina textile mill that rejected buyout offers and instead invested in automation and employee training. Another example features a worker-owned metalworks in Ohio, where employees have a voice in strategic decisions. In Michigan, a robotics firm